Hi guys, Neff here, and today we are looking at the Ziess IKON SK6 Sperwelle profile. Another really difficult lock for me. Sits pretty high on the difficulty spectrum, but was pretty fun. As you can see, here's how it came new to me in this box. Got a really nice security card with it. I really like collecting those. One of the main things that can show you about its difficulty level, of course, we have a top stack and we have a sidebar. The sidebar pins are rotating pins, so even when you lift them up into their gate, you may have to push it forward or backward or even to a center portion through some false gates, which we'll take a look at if I can get it picked on camera today. Originally, I didn't actually know that and had the toughest time figuring it out until somebody said, no, you have to rotate the pins, and then it became I'm not going to say trivial, but pretty close to it. I finished it up in less than a night after that. So let's go ahead and get this in the vise, see if we can get it picked for you today, and show you what's inside of it. Alrighty guys, we got her locked up in there. Here is the key. Let's get her going. I did disassemble the back end far enough to remove a couple of parts, nothing more than to hold the core in place, to make it a little bit easier if I can get it picked on camera here, so that the gutting process will be a little bit faster. And let's see how it goes. So I'm just using that tensioner. Here's a dimple flag made from wiper insert. That's what I'll be using to lift the sidebar pins with just a Southard grip on it. I just made that out of Dremel. Here's just a regular old hook lasered out on my home laser. So I'm starting on pin 1. There was some mastering in here, and mastering actually tends to make things harder for me. That 2 clicks on 1 was skipping past a master wafer. So I got a spool on 2. You want to get the spools a little early if you can. There was 2. 2 has a master wafer as well, but it doesn't often really give me issues. 3 is also a spool. I'm going to try and get it. There was 3. On these SK6 locks, I've only had a couple different ones, but I can be pretty mean to them without worrying about overset, so I tend to really keep checking the pins and really mash them up in there. 4 is also a spool. 5 and 6 are standards. I tend to go to 5 or 6 and then do 4. That click was on 6, now we're on 5. Good click. Let's get 4 handled. Me rocking left and right like that is just making sure I'm not in any of the warding. There goes 4. Now we check. 3 needed bumped back up a little bit. Two and 1 feel pretty good. The spools in this almost feel like they're tapered at the ends. Makes it a little bit more tedious. So 5 and 6 probably dropped. Let's get them. I'm on 5. Good click on 5. Good click on 6. Now we check 4. Start making sure everything's up in there so that I can start working on the sidebar. 3. Okay, 3 actually needed another tap too, and it's very slight. You probably didn't see it, but I did get some core movement. So now we're going to take this very small little flag and start working on sidebar pins. I'm going to fix my thumb here. So, first one goes really high and then has to be pushed forward away from me. So I usually try to start it, lock it up in place, and then I turn my flag like that, and I'm going to push against it like that. You might be able to hear the click over my 3D printer running in the background. That click was going past a false gate to turn it forward. Second click just there was getting it all the way up into its gate. Very loose feeling now. We're on number 2. There is not much to it. 3 is binding. Oop. It's hard to get under him sometimes because I am holding pretty tight tension. Let's start again. 1 is still great. 2 doesn't have much to it. There goes 3. Got a little click. Sometimes they pop right up into their correct orientation. Sometimes they don't. I find it's best that if you can rotate one, go for it. Otherwise, try and get them all lifted pretty close to their gate and then start figuring out rotations. Because if a couple of them are already in their spot, life is good. So, alright. So I've got these all lifted. 1 is good. 2 is not. 2 is a backward rotation. So I'm going to pull against it while easing up on some tension. I'm pulling really hard, actually. I'm like hooked up against it. Okay, I got a light click. Checked 1 to get it back popped up in there. Let's check 2. 2 now feels really loose, so it should be in its correct gate. We're checking 3. 3 fell out a little bit. I just popped it back up in there, and it feels quite loose as well. 4 feels... well, it might have just fallen because now it feels nice and loose. Let's check 5. Okay, so 4 and 5 fell. Checking everything, and then I'm going to work on gates. So 4 and 5 are lifted. 4 feels loose. 5 is the only one that feels like it needs anything, and if I remember right, 5 is towards me. So I'm going to hook up against it, loosen up, and pull backward. Oof, skipped off of it. Let's check them. 1 is good. 2 is good. 3 is good. 4 is good. 5 is still not as loose as the rest. I'm going to pull back towards me again. Ah! Keep sliding off of it. And when I do that, I check the rest in case I yanked them out of a gate. It's not happened yet, to be honest. It just makes me feel better to feel my way back. So, alright, let's get a good hook on there. Ah. Let's find where we're at. 1's good, 2's good, 3's good, 4's good. 5. One's good. 2's good. 3's good. 4 might be our issue. Let's check 4. 4 goes forward, so I'm pushing forward into it. And I think it's where it needs to be. You can obviously see I'm pushing quite hard. But it just doesn't feel right. Maybe my tension's too hard. Okay, let's check what I did there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, now 5 is real tight again, so let's get that pulled backward. I skipped off of it. I don't believe I said anything. 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's 4. Feels good. 5 is definitely tight. So let's ease up on the tension. There it went. I got it pulled backward. Lock is wide open. Let's get it gutted for you. So one cool thing before I kick it into super speed while you see me gut it is... oops, sorry, I hit the camera there. Let's slow that down. One cool thing I really like about these IKON locks is this cam system. You can just pull that off, that piece. Let me close this up first so that I don't lose the core. And then the whole thing just falls apart. It's just a 3-piece system. 2 pieces for the cam and then a clip. I love that system. Makes things way easier to gut and take apart. Alrighty guys, let's see what we got here. So, for the key pins, it's all pretty standard stuff. The first one is steel, probably for drill protection. The rest of them look brass colored. I noticed that there was mastering in this. This was new from the factory, bought by itself, by me. Thank you to Rain for passing it on to me and for helping me get this. But yeah, it seems that all the SK6s I've gotten new from factory have mastering in them. I heard from a separate company that sometimes has to do with how they calculate I forget the word he used. It was like calculating stack heights and balancing the stacks and stuff. So it could be related to that. But yeah, just weird to me that I always see mastering in these new locks. So I actually, you may have seen in the beginning of the video, this master pin was disincluded from the lock, you know, just to remove it. A lot of people say mastering makes the lock easier. For me, it has never. It always seems to make a lock a little bit harder for me, feedback wise, or just it feels weird and feels different. But anyway, you know, so here is I believe that is also a steel driver for number one. So steel and steel, and then we have brass down the line. We got spool, 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 standard, pretty normal stuff. The top stack without a sidebar is pretty trivial. It's like messing with a wide open keyway regular old lock. But these sidebar pins, side pins, is where you run into trouble. One interesting thing about them, if I can get the camera to see it, is they have letters on the bottom. Let's see if I can get it to focus on that. Sorry, my cat just scratched me because she wants attention. There's kind of the letter. Maybe if I put it all the way down here. This one has a Q on it. Maybe if I take some of the light off of it. No, I'm sorry. My camera's just having trouble. Ah, there we go. So there's a Q on that one. They don't spell anything. They just have different letters. Maybe it's how they differentiate what pins for gate heights and stuff. This one is an R. And we have a... Sorry, I'm looking at it too. We have a C on that one. So kind of cool. They all have a letter. Let's see what the other ones are, I guess, since we're looking at them all. This one is an F. Probably see that. And then this one is an S. Now the rotating aspect of it belongs with the sidebar design here. So if you look at that, you'll see it has notches on the edges of each gate. I'm gonna try and get it really visible here. Come on, camera. There we go. So it has notches on the edge of each gate like that. And once you get a pin rotated up into the gate, or lifted up into the gate, let's get a hold of it by its foot here. Sorry, let's get her. So, geez, if you get it lifted up into the gate, you may be turned the wrong way. I guess we're not going to hold it by the foot. I guess we're just going to hold it like this. There we go. So you get it lifted up. It might be turned like that, and it's still kind of caught, and you see all these notches on it, and those are the clicks you hear as you're pushing forward and backward. And you can map one as you pick it. It makes it take a lot longer, but basically you feel for the looseness in it, and if it does not feel the correct, you know, how you would feel a true gate with a jiggle test, then obviously you're not correct and you want to push it forward or backwards. So, you know, as you're picking one of these, just keep that in mind. I also learned that this is the same sidebar design as the ASA Twin Combi. I tried to pick one of those a while back, had no idea it had rotating side pins, so I ditched it real quick. I have a feeling now that I'll be able to do it. Here's our cylinder. Not much to that. I do see it has two sidebar grooves in there. I have no idea why. I do know that when this lock specifically, when I turn it to, oh no, those aren't two sidebar grooves. No, yeah, it is. When I turn it to the counterclockwise position, it always is a lot harder than if I turn it clockwise. But you see we've got a few grooves to work with in there, which this may be a cylinder that can be used with multiple models. I'm not real sure, but there you go, guys. Ziess IKON SK6 Sperwelle profile. Not very expensive, but very challenging and fun. Any comments, questions, feedback, or suggestions? I'm happy to hear it. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching.